He didn't lie with words. He lied with consistency, with anniversaries missed, with phones flipped face down, with days that turned into nights too often. Welcome back to Mr. Charles Stories, where truth doesn't hide forever. If you believe silence can say more than an affair, stay with us. Cole Merritt was the kind of man people trusted on sight. In his crisp navy suits and pressed white shirts, he looked like the answer to 100 investor prayers. He was the face of Arcovia Industries, the clean tech empire he founded from a student co-working space in Rhode Island. Magazines called him the future of ethical billionaires. Podcasts praised his transparency. Politicians asked him to speak at climate summits. Even competitors admitted the man knew how to look clean. What the world didn't know was that Cole Merritt's best work wasn't in solar or wind. It was in control. He mastered image, managed perception, built a public reputation so spotless, even those closest to him questioned their instincts rather than his loyalty. Only one person ever saw the cracks beneath that polished shell, and she was tired of squinting. Ira Merritt was never the woman behind the man. She was the woman who stood beside him in that first pitch meeting, years ago, wearing a borrowed blazer and nerves sharp enough to carry them both. When investors passed, she rewrote the pitch deck overnight. When they got married, she didn't want a castle wedding. She wanted a quiet ceremony under her late father's oak tree. When Cole landed his first major contract, Ira didn't ask what he would buy first. She asked what kind of company he wanted to build. The answer back then was honest. They met in college. He was pre-law before he dropped out. She was in architecture, sketching public libraries while others chased skyline commissions. Their first kiss happened in a campus stairwell during finals week. Their first apartment had roaches, bad plumbing, and a mattress that sank in the middle. They were happy, broke, united, and slowly, over years, they became powerful. Cole never forgot where they came from, but remembering and living it were two different things. The more success poured in, the more walls went up, around his time, his thoughts, his phone. Ira noticed the walls. She even knocked a few times, but she didn't break them down. She focused on her own work, an urban design firm she launched from scratch while raising their son Lennox. She stayed off social media, rarely attended Cole's events, and didn't care about his press coverage. To the world, Ira Merritt was low-key, grounded, private. In truth, she was exhausted. Lennox was 6, wide-eyed, quick to ask questions, and always dancing to music no one else heard. His world revolved around dinosaurs, peanut butter waffles, and bedtime stories, the kind only his dad could read the right way. Cole tried to make time, tried to be present, but somewhere between board meetings and red carpets, trying became excuses. He missed more than he showed up for. And Ira stopped reminding him. One night, she found Lennox asleep on the couch, clutching a superhero book. When she gently took it from his hand, a post-it note fell out. In Lennox's handwriting, barely legible, "Don't tell Mommy I miss Dad too much." Ira didn't cry. She closed the book, kissed her son's forehead, and sat alone in the kitchen for 2 hours. Cole's absences didn't scream betrayal, they whispered important. He had always been driven, always a step ahead. So when he started taking late meetings, Ira assumed expansion. When he booked more solo travel, she assumed strategy. When his phone never lit up with her name anymore, she assumed he silenced it for focus. That was the danger of building with someone. You remembered their character long after their choices stopped matching it. And Ira had built with Cole. She knew how he slept, how he thought, how he faked being fine when the numbers dipped. But lately, she didn't know who he shared that with. It wasn't her. One evening, Ira entered the kitchen and found Cole finishing a video call. He smiled at the screen, tilted his head like he used to with her, then quickly closed the laptop. "Late board update," he said, without turning. Ira said nothing. She poured tea. The silence between them wasn't hostile. It was something heavier, familiar even. Cole stood to leave. "I might fly out Thursday." Palo Alto. She stirred her tea. When will you be back? Saturday. Probably late. Lennox had a recital Saturday. Ira had sent him the calendar invite. She didn't repeat herself. She just nodded. That night, in bed, Cole reached for her. She let him. But halfway through, her eyes remained open, fixed on the ceiling. Cole noticed. He slowed. Are you okay? Ira turned her head. Do you want to know? Or do you want me to say yes so we can sleep? His hand froze, and for the first time in a long while, he didn't have the words. Ira knew marriage wasn't made of grand gestures. It was built on patterns. Who showed up, who remembered, who asked, who listened. She knew what it felt like to be loved. She also knew what it felt like to be maintained. One of those felt like home. The other felt like endurance. Cole still posted photos with Ira on social media, still credited her in speeches, still referred to her as the reason Arcovia ever existed. But at home, he was late to breakfast, quiet during dinner, and sometimes stared at Lennox like he couldn't quite remember when his son stopped crawling. Ira's friends called her strong. She hated that word. Strength wasn't what kept her from breaking down. It was what kept her from packing her things. One Thursday morning, Ira received an email about a gala Cole was scheduled to attend that night. Black tie, press invited, major donors expected. She wasn't told. Not that she planned to go. She closed the email, glanced at the open spot in their shared calendar, and sighed. That night, she made dinner. Lennox asked where Daddy was. Working, she said, then added, but not forever. Lennox nodded like that made sense. Children always find logic in routine, even when it hurts. As the days blurred, Cole's life sped up. He traveled often, stayed later, claimed strategy sessions, investor briefings, global impact retreats. He still called Ira babe in public, but at home, she couldn't remember the last time he asked how she slept. Ira didn't suspect another woman. She suspected indifference, and somehow that felt worse, because betrayal is at least personal. Neglect is simply invisible. It was early March when Ira's sister Simone stopped by unannounced with pastries and an instinct. She watched Cole leave through the back gate, keys spinning on one finger, face glued to his phone. Was that him? Simone asked. Ira nodded without looking up. He's headed to an advisory roundtable. Simone tilted her head. On a Saturday morning? Ira didn't answer. She poured tea. Simone knew better than to pry, but she glanced around the kitchen. Every surface was spotless, every towel perfectly folded, every drawer closed. It was the kind of order that didn't grow from peace. You okay? She asked. Ira smiled, the kind of smile that makes people stop asking. Cole drove across the city to a private suite in a minimalist hotel. No signage, no cameras in the hallway. The woman who answered the door wore no perfume. She didn't need to. Her name was Sienna Ravel. Sharp chin, smarter eyes. Every room she entered shifted to meet her rhythm. She had a talent for planning exclusive experiences and an even greater talent for reading what men didn't say. 2 years ago, she met Cole at a charity auction. He'd been speaking on sustainable ocean cleanup. She'd been finalizing a $5 million luxury retreat for the same foundation. They flirted politely, nothing out of bounds, but Sienna knew potential when she saw it. They exchanged contacts for event collaboration. The first lunch was harmless. The third one wasn't. Cole never intended to betray Ira. He convinced himself he wasn't. Sienna wasn't romantic. She was escape. He told himself he didn't lie because he didn't promise anything to Sienna. No love. No forever. No wedding under an oak tree. Just time. Just wine. Just room 1409. Back home, Ira was reviewing a municipal zoning file when Lennox crawled into her lap. Mummy, yes? Do daddies forget they love people sometimes? She blinked. Why do you ask that? Because Daddy never says he loves you anymore. Ira swallowed slowly. You hear everything, huh? Lennox nodded, like when he tells Siri to remind him to call you, and then doesn't. She pulled him close. That doesn't mean he forgot, but it does mean we're allowed to feel things when people change, even if they don't yell, especially then. One evening, Cole returned home after a red-eye from San Francisco. Ira had stayed up, not because she waited, but because she couldn't sleep. He walked into the kitchen and opened the fridge. "We need oat milk," he mumbled. Ira didn't look up from her laptop. "There's some in the pantry." Back left. Cole pulled it out, hesitated, then said, "I saw Lennox's recital reminder. I'll be there." Ira raised her eyes. "He'll be glad." Cole nodded. "And you?" She didn't blink. "You stopped asking me that a long time ago." He opened his mouth, closed it, then poured the milk. The next morning, Ira got a text from her assistant. An investor asked if she'd be attending the Clean Future Gala with Cole. She replied politely, unaware of the event. "But, thank you." Then she Googled it. Cole was a headlining panelist. She sat in her parked car for 8 minutes before stepping into her office. That night, she didn't ask him where he'd been. She already knew the answer. Cole hadn't planned to skip their anniversary. He had even bookmarked the reservation she made at Amelia's. It was on his calendar, but when Sienna invited him to preview a new rooftop venue, strictly business, minimal guests, he agreed. The wine was strong. The suite was quieter than expected. One drink turned into 2. When his phone buzzed and Sienna leaned to refill his glass, he caught the preview. "Ira, table is ready. I'm at Amelia's. Hope you're on your way." Everything in his body tensed. He stood so fast the chair scratched the floor. The wineglass tipped, shattered. Sienna stared. "You okay?" He didn't answer. He left his jacket behind. Meanwhile, at Amelia's, Ira sat with her hands folded on her lap. The server approached for the 3rd time. "Would you like to start with anything?" She shook her head, smiling softly. "I'll give him a few more minutes." She had already given him years. After 47 minutes, she paid the check. The manager offered to box their meal. She declined. Her phone never lit up. When she stepped outside, it started to rain. She walked 3 blocks before calling a car, not because she didn't want to cry in public, but because she didn't want to cry in their restaurant. That night, Cole came home at 2:11 a.m. Ira didn't hear the door. She was awake, but not waiting. 3 days later, Lennox had a minor cold. Ira took him to urgent care. Cole wasn't informed. He called that night to ask about a conference he'd missed. She gave him the update, short and simple. After the call, she stared at the screen. She couldn't tell if his voice sounded more strained or if hers had stopped noticing. The week of Lennox's school recital arrived. Ira dressed him in a white shirt and tiny blue suspenders. She braided his hair carefully. "Will Daddy see me dance?" He said he would. "And if he forgets?" Ira looked in the mirror. "Then you'll still dance like he's in the front row." Cole arrived late, the last parent to enter the auditorium. He wore sunglasses inside. He stood at the back. Lennox's eyes scanned the rows. He saw his father, smiled, then performed. Afterward, he ran into Cole's arms. "Daddy." "Hey, champ, you crushed it." Lennox giggled. "Mommy said you'd come." Cole glanced toward Ira. She was talking to a teacher. Lennox whispered, "Why do you have the hotel lady on your phone?" Cole froze. "What?" "The one you hugged. Her name was on the screen." Sienna, room 1409. Cole's blood ran cold. "Where? Did you see that?" "When you plugged your phone into the car, it lit up." Her name was there. Cole looked over Lennox's shoulder. Ira stood still, eyes already locked on them. She had heard. She didn't speak. She didn't walk over. She just turned and left the building. Cole drove home in silence. Ira's car wasn't in the driveway. The hallway light was off. He walked upstairs. On the table in the foyer, her wedding ring rested in the middle of a folded napkin. His hand shook as he picked it up. Then he turned to see the closet open, half empty. Ira was gone. She left no note. She didn't block his number. She simply stopped offering reasons to stay. That night, Cole sat in their kitchen for 2 hours. Same spot where Ira once stared after reading Lennox's sticky note. He thought about every time he said he'd call and didn't. Every moment he convinced himself the truth could wait. He'd built an empire of foresight, but he hadn't seen this coming. Because he had stopped looking. If you've ever watched someone protect their image while losing their home, you know silence can shatter trust louder than betrayal. What would you do if your child accidentally exposed a truth you've been ignoring? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share this story with someone who values quiet strength. And don't forget to subscribe to Mr. Charles Stories, where actions speak, even when words stay hidden. The morning after Ira left, Cole didn't rush to call her. He sat in the kitchen with his hands wrapped around a mug of black coffee he didn't drink. He looked at her chair, empty, perfectly pushed in, as if she had never sat there at all. Lennox's backpack was missing from the hook by the door. Her favorite coffee spoon was gone. The absence wasn't loud. It was clean, deliberate. That was what terrified him most. Ira didn't leave in a storm. She left in clarity. Later that day, Cole drove to the penthouse suite he kept on the other side of town. It had a different vibe. Cool tones, glass furniture, curated silence. It didn't feel like home. Sienna met him at the door wearing one of his shirts. She kissed his cheek like nothing had changed. He didn't return the kiss. She noticed. "You're quiet," she said, brushing his collar. "Bad board meeting?" Cole took off his shoes. Something like that. He walked past her, straight to the liquor shelf, poured one glass. Didn't offer her any. Sienna folded her arms. Did something happen? Cole stared out the floor-to-ceiling window. Ira left. That got her attention. Left. Like, overnight. She took Lennox. She's gone. Sienna blinked. Did she find out about us? Cole didn't answer. Sienna sat down on the edge of the bed. Okay. So, what now? He looked at her. Not the woman. Not the body. The consequence. I need to think. 2 years earlier, Sienna Revell wasn't even on Cole's radar. She was known in elite circles for her ability to pull off million-dollar events with 3 days' notice and a list of VIPs longer than a runway. Her firm specialized in crisis luxury, planning private, off-the-record events for high-net-worth clients avoiding scandal, press, or divorce lawyers. Cole met her at a silent auction fundraiser for a marine foundation. Ira had please replied, but stayed home when Lennox had a fever. Cole went alone. Sienna introduced herself while he was pouring sparkling water at the bar. "You speak well," she said. "I rehearse badly." She laughed. He remembered that. Their first conversation lasted 8 minutes. Their second, 45. She didn't ask about Ira. He didn't offer details. They both operated in a space where curiosity was dangerous. Sienna was smart. She didn't push. She made herself available without being needy, interesting without being dramatic. She never asked to see his house, never demanded he make promises. She became the reward he gave himself after long weeks. Cole didn't intend for it to last. He told himself it would be one weekend. That turned into monthly dinners, then quarterly trips, then a second phone, then the penthouse. He had rules. No photos, no social media, no gifts that could be traced. Every expense ran through an unlisted corporate subsidiary. He thought control would keep it contained, but what he didn't account for was habit. And habit is more dangerous than emotion. Cole liked the ease of Sienna, the predictability, the ability to turn it off and on. He didn't have to talk about Lennox's education, Ira's city projects, or his mother's health. He didn't have to feel guilty about being distant. He could just disappear for a few hours and call it stress relief. But it was never just stress, it was detachment. Back home, Ira had started noticing receipts that didn't match Cole's travel logs, conference rooms that didn't exist, cities where he claimed to stay, but she couldn't find the hotel he named. Still, she didn't accuse. She observed. In the penthouse, Cole tell me? He rubbed his face. This wasn't supposed to go this far. It hasn't gone anywhere, she replied. You keep everything in place. You're careful. I'm careful. But it cost me everything. Sienna's voice lost its playfulness. Did it cost you? Or did you trade it? He flinched. She stood. You know what your wife and I have in common. He looked at her. We both made it easy for you to escape your guilt. One by covering for it, one by pretending it wasn't there. She walked to the bathroom and closed the door. Cole didn't follow. He sat in the silence. His phone buzzed once. A security alert from his primary residence. Likely Ira returning to pick up mail. He stared at the alert. Didn't tap it. Didn't ask if she needed anything. Because he already knew she no longer did. A few nights later, Cole had dinner with a hedge fund partner and his wife. The partner asked where Ira was. Cole made up a line about her being in Los Angeles on a project. The wife smiled. Oh, we thought she'd stopped traveling since Lennox started school. We saw your date at the Turks and Caicos Gala. Stunning. Is she a new partner at Arcovia? Cole froze. His drink hovered an inch from his lips. He smiled. She's in events. Contracted for the foundation. He switched topics fast. But his stomach didn't settle for the rest of the night. That night, he texted Sienna. Can we slow this down? She didn't reply until the next day. Wasn't aware we were speeding. In the weeks following Ira's departure, Cole began noticing how empty everything felt. He walked through Arcovia's headquarters and didn't greet the front desk. He reviewed pitch decks but didn't remember reading them. He was present, but hollow. The kind of hollow that makes people dangerous to themselves. One afternoon, he walked past Lennox's school without realizing he'd parked there. The calendar pinned a dentist appointment Ira had scheduled months earlier. He never added it to his new phone. He missed it. Later that night, Ira texted him. Lennox was fine. Please try to stay aware of his calendar. It helps him when things are predictable. Cole stared at the message. He typed, I'm sorry. Deleted it. Typed, I'll do better. Deleted it. And that silence said everything Ira needed to know. Cole didn't delete Sienna's number. He didn't call her either. What used to be effortless had started to feel weighty, like walking through water. Every conversation dragged. Every excuse got harder to shake. He couldn't unsee the look on Ira's face the night she turned and left the auditorium. He kept hearing Lennox's voice. Why do you have the hotel lady on your phone? 6 years old. No accusation. Just confusion. And that made it worse. At Arcovia headquarters, things weren't better. He was late to executive briefings. Missed a key press event. Legal flagged discrepancies in expense reports tied to his untraceable shell company. Internal whispers began to float, not loud enough to spark a crisis, but just enough to cross the air when he walked into the room. Cole had spent years shaping his image. Now, that image moved without him, like a shell he couldn't quite fit back into. His COO, Bevan, knocked on his office door with hesitation. You didn't respond to the gala committee, she said, standing near the glass wall. They need confirmation by tomorrow. Cole pinched the bridge of his nose. I'm not going. Bevan hesitated. That'll raise questions. Let them ask. She folded her arms. Is this about your wife? He looked up sharply. Bevan didn't flinch. People are noticing. Cole sat back. They'll move on. Bevan didn't respond. She walked out, but not before leaving a sealed envelope on his desk. A printed summary of complaints. Stakeholder unrest, investor concern, internal unease. At the bottom, the brand can't bleed. Please decide how visible you want to be while we clean this up. Cole didn't read the rest. He didn't need to. The echo chamber was breaking. Back at the penthouse, Sienna was waiting. She hadn't been invited, but she still had a key card. I brought dinner, she said, holding 2 boxes of Thai food. Cole stepped inside, ignoring the smell. You can't keep showing up unannounced. Sienna raised an eyebrow. I had a key. I'll have it changed. That landed like a slap. She set the food down on the marble counter. You blaming me now? Cole took off his watch. No. I'm blaming myself. For what? For everything I said yes to. Sienna moved closer. You think going back to her fixes this? I don't know, he said. But I know this doesn't. She looked at him. I never asked for more. I know. Then why do you look at me like I stole something from you? He didn't answer, because the answer was selfish. He missed Ira's silence more than he enjoyed Sienna's presence. Sienna left that night without taking the food. Cole stared at the unopened boxes for a long time, then dumped them both in the trash. In her sister's apartment, Ira reviewed blueprints for a city commission project, a pedestrian bridge tying together two communities that had long been separated by zoning politics. Her ideas were clean, fluid, designed to unify. It was the opposite of what her life had become. Lennox sat at the table coloring a drawing. Stick figures, a house, two people. Ira bent down beside him. Who's that? She asked gently, pointing to one of the stick figures with a tie. That's Daddy, he said. I still like him, even if he doesn't talk nice anymore. Ira nodded. I understand. He used to tell me I could build rockets. You still can. Lennox smiled. Ira kissed his forehead and walked into the kitchen before he could see her face shift. That night, Ira's sister asked, You think he's still seeing her? Ira sipped her tea. Probably. You want him back? Ira shook her head slowly. I want peace. That's different. Cole spent the next morning in his car, parked outside his old house. He didn't go in, didn't knock, just sat, staring at the front door that used to open when his key turned. The porch light still worked. The flower beds were fresh. Nothing was broken. Everything was simply not his. Later that day, he received a call from Arcovia's lead investor, a woman named Cambria Wilde. Sharp, focused, brutal when necessary. I'll be direct, she said. There's concern you've compromised the brand. I haven't committed fraud. Scandal doesn't need fraud, it needs headlines. Right now, your absence is speaking louder than your defense. Cole closed his eyes. What are you suggesting? Step back, publicly, retain power, quietly. Let your COO manage the face of Arcovia until this fog clears. He knew what that meant. Temporary invisibility, a polite removal. He agreed. That afternoon he held a private meeting with Bevan and the communications team. They drafted the statement. Founder Cole Merritt will be taking a step back to focus on internal innovation and wellness. Bevan Lynn will serve as interim spokesperson. Ira saw the headline the next morning. She didn't smile. She didn't gloat. She just exhaled. At her project site, Ira reviewed proposals with the city's urban committee. Her work was praised. Her designs pushed forward. She didn't mention Cole once, but later that evening, she received an anonymous deposit into her firm's business. A count, enough to clear the last of the debt from her early years. No message, no name, just numbers. She knew where it came from. She didn't respond. Cole didn't expect a thank you. He didn't do it for redemption. He did it because it should have been done years ago, back when she carried half the weight and got none of the spotlight. Days passed. Cole stopped calling Sienna. She stopped texting. He boxed her things from the penthouse, dropped the keycard in a padded envelope. No note, no anger, only closure. On Friday, Cole showed up at Lennox's school for parent reading day. He wore jeans, a clean button-up, no entourage. The teacher handed him a small book about a fox who built a home from scraps. Cole read softly. Lennox leaned against his arm. When they finished, Lennox looked up. You read better than last time. Cole smiled. I practiced. Ira watched from the hallway, silent, observing. She didn't step in. She let them have that moment, because she knew the difference now between performing and presence. That evening, she received a message from Cole. I'd like to come read again next week, if that's okay. She replied simply, Lennox would like that. Cole stared at her text for a long time. It wasn't an open door, but it wasn't a closed one either. Ira never circled the date on a calendar. She didn't send reminders, didn't post about it. didn't nudge him with hints. She believed anniversaries shouldn't require begging to be remembered, especially the 11th. She woke early that morning and sat quietly on the edge of the bed they no longer shared. She wasn't expecting flowers or confessions. She didn't want either. She wanted presence. And perhaps, if the day went well, maybe even acknowledgement. That's all. Downstairs, Lennox was coloring at the dining table, tongue slightly out in concentration. He looked up when she walked in. "Is Daddy making breakfast?" "No," Ira said softly. "He left early for work." Lennox squinted. "But you said today's your married day." "I did. Will he come to dinner?" Ira smiled faintly. "He said he would." She let Lennox help choose her earrings. He picked the teardrop-shaped ones she wore to Cole's first public launch event. Then he tapped his chin thoughtfully. "You should wear the blue dress." Ira raised a brow. "Why?" "Because Daddy called you a galaxy last time you wore it." She blinked. That was 5 years ago. She reached into the back of her closet and pulled it out. Navy silk, still smooth, still perfect, still waiting to be worn for someone who wouldn't remember. At 6:45 p.m., Ira arrived at Amelia's, the same restaurant where they celebrated their first $1 million contract. The hostess greeted her like an old friend. "Table for two, Mrs. Merritt." "Yes," she replied. "No Mr. Merritt yet?" Ira glanced down at her watch. "He'll be here soon." She sat, smoothed her dress, sipped water. Time moved. 7:10 p.m. The server approached. "Would you like to order drinks?" "I'll wait," Ira said. Meanwhile, across the city, Cole reclined in a rooftop suite, wrapped in low golden lighting and soft jazz. The new venue overlooked the skyline. A private tasting event was underway. Sienna had invited only a handful of people: investors, chefs, influencers, and Cole. She sat beside him with her legs crossed, holding a glass of wine. "You needed this," she said. Cole smirked. "Did the first. You've looked like a ghost for weeks." He didn't deny it. The wine was chilled, the air expensive. He let himself forget what day it was. Back at Amelia's, Ira looked around. Couples toasted. A man proposed at the bar. A woman nearby dabbed tears from her cheeks. Ira watched it all like a guest at a movie. She reached for her phone. No missed calls, no texts. 7:30, 1 p.m. The server returned. "Would you like to begin with an appetizer?" She smiled. "No thank you, I'm still waiting." Her voice didn't crack. Her hands didn't shake. She simply sat there, becoming invisible in real time. Across the room, a small boy dropped a glass of orange juice. His mother rushed to clean it. His father laughed nervously. Ira looked down at her folded napkin. There was no anger, no scene playing in her head. Just a quiet inventory of the day. She woke up with hope. Now, she was counting how many times she believed someone who didn't ask to be believed. Back in the lounge, Sienna leaned over Cole's shoulder and poured more wine into his glass. His phone buzzed. He ignored it. She touched his wrist. "Check it." He sighed and lifted the screen. "Ira, table is ready. I'm at Amelia's. Hope you're on your way." The blood left his face. Sienna tilted her head. "What's wrong?" The wine glass slipped from his hand and hit the floor. Shattered. The room turned to look. Sienna reached down, flustered. Cole. But he was already standing. Fast. Too fast. The chair screeched against the floor. He grabbed his jacket. "I have to go. Now." He didn't answer. Sienna stood, arms crossed. "You forgot your anniversary." He paused in the doorway. "Guess so." Then he walked out. At Amelia's, Ira finally folded her napkin. The server approached again, gentler this time. "Would you like us to box your meal?" She shook her head. "I didn't order anything." The manager, recognizing her, came over personally. "Mrs. Merritt, would you like to leave a note? Or we could send him your regards." "No, thank you." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Outside, the evening had turned cold. A soft drizzle misted the sidewalk. Ira didn't open an umbrella. She walked slowly, heels tapping against wet pavement. Each step less about where she was going and more about leaving that place. At 8:19 p.m., Cole arrived at the restaurant, his suit slightly wrinkled, breath uneven. He asked for Ira's table. The hostess looked apologetic. She left about 15 minutes ago. Did she say anything? She paid for both meals. And she didn't look angry. Cole stood there, the weight settling across his chest like a coat he didn't remember putting on. He looked at the empty table. 2 place settings. No plates. Only a folded napkin with a water ring under it. Back at home, Ira removed her earrings and set them in the velvet dish Cole once gave her for their 5th anniversary. Lennox was asleep. The house was still. She looked at her phone again. Still no message, no explanation. She switched it off and went to bed. Cole sat in his car outside the restaurant for a long time. He didn't call her, didn't text, didn't go home. He drove to the penthouse instead, walked in alone, turned on the lights, and for the first time noticed how quiet it was when no one was pretending to want something from him. Cole didn't return to the penthouse that night out of affection for it. He returned because it didn't ask him anything. There was no voice reminding him of missed dinners, no tiny sneakers in the hallway, no sound of Ira's laugh muffled by focus and restraint. It was empty, which made it easier to pretend nothing had been lost, until he tried to sleep, and silence felt louder than shame. At 2:43 a.m., he picked up his phone, scrolled through Ira's old texts. Some were from years ago. Did you eat? Remember Lennox's music day? They need parent volunteers. If we fall asleep before you get home, I left food in the oven. Each one, a thread he never tied. Each one, a version of her trying to hold the center. And each one he'd replied to with, "Kay, got it. Cool." Now, she sent nothing, and the silence was earned. Ira slept lightly at Simone's. The guest bed was smaller, the pillow too firm, but she breathed easier. There were no keys turning at midnight, no careful sniff of cologne wondering if it was familiar, no pretending to be asleep just to avoid the ache of trying to connect. She woke just after 6. Her phone was still blank. No apology, no missed call, no lie to force herself to believe. That, strangely, gave her peace. She moved through the morning in quiet rhythm, made breakfast for Lennox, packed his folder, brushed his hair, answered his questions about clouds and dinosaurs, and why pancakes stick to pans. She lived, not just waited, and that was new. Across town, Cole stood in front of the mirror tying a new tie. It was darker than his usual navy, a rich charcoal, nearly black. He didn't plan to wear it, but something inside him whispered that color was more fitting today. He walked into his office, opened his laptop, and stared at the screensaver. It was still a photo from a family vacation 3 years ago. Ira, holding Lennox near the shore, wind in their hair, both smiling like they'd forgotten the world owed them anything. He hadn't changed the photo, but now he couldn't look at it. He closed the laptop. Later that day, Ira's assistant asked if she would be sending over design revisions for the pedestrian bridge project. Ira paused. She wanted to say she hadn't had time, but the truth was, her heart had been holding blueprints for something else, her own next step. She wrote back, "I'll send the new layout by tomorrow. Thank you for your patience." Then she poured a fresh cup of coffee and opened the draft again. That evening, Cole walked into a boardroom to discuss transition terms. His formal leave hadn't been announced yet, but the murmurs were growing. Bevan stood at the head of the table, tablet in hand, already laying out projections. Cole sat at the far end. He listened, didn't interrupt. At the close, one board member approached privately, a woman who had known Ira from a charity event. "She's stronger than you think," she said. Cole nodded. "I never doubted that. That's not the compliment you think it is." Then she walked out. Ira tucked Lennox into bed at Simone's that night. "Mummy, yes? Did Daddy forget again?" She paused. "What do you mean? You said he'd be at dinner." Ira brushed back his curls. Not tonight. Was it because of the hotel lady again? Ira closed her eyes briefly, then opened them. Lennox, some things hurt more than they show, but it's not your fault. And I'm proud of you for speaking the truth. He nodded, then whispered, I still want him to come back. She kissed his forehead. That's okay. In the penthouse, Cole opened his messages. He drafted a note. I'm sorry I missed dinner. I got caught up and... He stopped, deleted the last part, typed again. I know I failed you yesterday. I don't expect a reply, but I wanted you to know I was wrong. You deserved more. Always did. He stared at it, then added, I'm sorry Lennox had to be the one to say what I should have confessed long ago. He hit send, then turned off his phone, not because he expected forgiveness, but because she'd already given him what mattered, the chance to see himself clearly. Ira saw the message the next morning. She read it once. Then again, there was no defense in it, no blame, no attempt to explain betrayal as confusion, just truth. And truth had taken so long to arrive, she didn't know what to do with it. She didn't reply, but she didn't delete it either. At breakfast, Lennox asked if they could go to the museum this weekend. Ira smiled. That sounds fun. Can Daddy come? She paused. Would you like that? I want to show him the rocket room. She nodded. Then we'll ask. He beamed. She didn't promise, but she didn't shut it down. Across the city, Cole stared at his inbox. Legal updates, press drafts, foundation memos. He opened none. He clicked on his calendar. One item sat there, blinking from 2 months ago. Emilia's anniversary dinner, 6:30 p.m. He didn't delete it. He left it, like a scar he didn't plan to hide. That weekend, Ira stood with Lennox outside the museum entrance. He held her hand tightly. Maybe he forgot, Lennox whispered. Ira looked down. Maybe, but we came anyway. 2 minutes later, Cole's car pulled up. He stepped out, dressed casually. He looked at them both, not like they were his to win back, but like they were still worth showing up for. The recital had been on Ira's calendar for weeks. She added it to Cole's twice. No response. So, she printed the flyer and taped it to the fridge. Still, no comment. That morning, she didn't ask if he'd be there. She dressed Lennox in a white shirt and a pair of suspenders that made him beam. He spun in front of the mirror, arms out. I look like a boss, he declared. You are one. Ira smiled. They walked out the door hand in hand. Her shoulders didn't feel as heavy as they had in months. She didn't carry expectation, only presence. Cole knew about the recital. He saw the notifications, skimmed the email from the school, ignored the flyer on the fridge during one of his late-night stops to change clothes and pick up mail. He told himself he'd show up. He also told himself it wasn't urgent. At 9:42 a.m., he was sitting in a boardroom pretending to listen to an ESG compliance briefing. By 10:03, he excused himself, took the elevator down, sat in his car. For 20 minutes, he stared at the steering wheel. Then, finally, he drove to the school. Ira arrived early. The auditorium was decorated with paper stars and construction paper instruments. Folding chairs filled the room, neatly labeled by class. Parents bustled about, finding seats, fixing collars, whispering last-minute encouragements. She took a seat in the second row, aisle seat, leaving room beside her. Lennox joined his classmates backstage. He looked for his dad, didn't see him, didn't ask. The lights dimmed. The performances began. Children clapped, danced, recited little verses about dreams and hope and honesty. When Lennox stepped onto the stage, Ira held her breath. He didn't stumble. He didn't scan the room. He performed like the moment was his. And it was. Ira felt pride pulse in her chest, the kind that made you want to frame time. Halfway through Lennox's poem, she noticed movement at the back of the room. Cole, wearing sunglasses indoors, standing near the exit, not late enough to miss everything, but too late to sit beside her. She didn't wave. He didn't try to move forward. He watched, arms crossed, expression unreadable. When the performance ended, children spilled into the crowd, some clinging to parents, others racing towards snacks. Lennox ran to Ira first. She hugged him tightly. "You were brilliant," she whispered. He beamed. Then his eyes scanned again. "Daddy came." Ira looked up. Cole was standing 10 feet away. Lennox broke free and darted toward him. Cole knelt down, arms open. "Hey, champ, you did amazing." Lennox hugged him. "You saw the whole thing?" "Every word." Lennox pulled back. "Why didn't you sit with Mummy?" Cole hesitated. "I got here late. You always get here late." The words weren't angry, just observant. Then Lennox lowered his voice. "Did you bring the lady from the hotel?" Cole blinked. "What?" "The one you hugged. She was on your phone. Her name showed up when your phone lit up." Ira's heart froze. She had approached quietly, hands still holding Lennox's water bottle and jacket. She had heard it all. Her footsteps stopped. Lennox continued, still whispering, but loud enough. "She was on your screen in the car. It said, Sienna, room 1409. Why was she in your phone like that?" Cole's lips parted. Nothing came out. Ira stepped forward. "Lennox, go grab your juice box. I'll be right here." Lennox nodded and ran off. She turned her gaze to Cole. He opened his mouth. She shook her head once. Hard. He closed it. She walked past him. No expression, no words, just forward. Outside, the sun was soft, breezy. Parents chatted near their cars. Some filmed their kids opening recital gifts. Some hugged. Some argued playfully. Ira didn't stop. She walked to her car, buckled Lennox in, closed the door, then stood still beside the driver's side, gripping the handle. Her breath came in quietly. She didn't scream, didn't cry. She just sat down and drove away. Cole never made it to his car. He stood in the lot staring at the spot where Ira's car had been. His throat was dry, his hands damp. The words kept echoing. Sienna, room 1409. From the mouth of a child, from the son he loved more than his own convenience. That night, Ira packed Lennox's essentials into a suitcase. He asked no questions. She didn't explain. Simone opened the door with her arms wide and her jaw tight. "I'll make space," she said. Ira nodded. "We won't stay long. No rush." Cole returned home to a dark house. He walked into the bedroom. The closet was open, half empty. On the table in the hallway sat a cloth napkin. Inside it, her wedding ring. No note, no fight, just a decision. And the echo of a boy asking about a name he shouldn't know. Cole didn't sleep that night. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling, the ring she left beside the folded napkin still pressed against his palm. The house was clean, every room in place, but the silence had a different weight now. It wasn't stillness, it was absence. By sunrise, he walked through every part of the home like he was trying to remember what used to be there. Lennox's little basketball hoop was gone. Ira's notebooks, her laptop, the kitchen drawer where she kept tea bags in alphabetized tins, all empty. She didn't take everything, only what mattered. He checked the front camera feed. 12 hours earlier, it had captured her walking out with one rolling suitcase. Lennox held his stuffed dinosaur and looked up at her like he wasn't scared, only unsure of where they'd sleep next. Cole watched the video 3 times, then shut the screen. Ira and Lennox moved into Simone's spare room. It wasn't luxurious, but it was warm, clean, and filled with someone who didn't ask for explanations. Simone didn't say, "I told you so." She only asked, "Do you need anything?" Ira shook her head. "No, I just need time." Lennox adapted quickly. He liked his aunt's cinnamon toast. He liked her stories. He liked that Ira was lighter somehow, not smiling more, but quieter in a good way. That night, as they got ready for bed, he sat beside her. "Did I do something wrong?" "No, sweetheart." "Why would you think that?" "Because I said that name, the hotel name. Ira turned to face him fully. "You told the truth. That's never wrong." But Daddy looked scared. She nodded. "Because he was." "Is he mad at me?" "No." "Are you mad at him?" She hesitated. "I'm not mad. I'm done pretending." Lennox didn't ask what that meant. He simply said, "I hope he still likes me." Ira pulled him close. "He loves you. That doesn't change." Cole spent the next 2 days in a haze. He showered, dressed, showed up to work, but nothing landed. Bevan took over a press briefing. Someone from legal followed up on a policy review he never opened. A junior associate asked for a signature, and he forgot his own initials. He skipped a post-briefing dinner, went home. The next morning, he sat in the garage, engine off, phone in his lap. He typed a message to Ira. "Can we talk?" Deleted it. Typed, "I didn't mean to hurt you." Deleted it. Then simply wrote, "I miss him." Ira saw the message an hour later. She didn't respond, but she showed it to Simone. Simone raised an eyebrow. "That's it." Ira nodded. "That's enough." Later that afternoon, Ira stopped by her office for the first time in days. Her staff greeted her with quiet respect. No questions, only soft smiles and updates. She reviewed blueprints, approved invoices, made a few calls, then stared at the large glass frame in her office. It held the first sketch she and Cole ever collaborated on, a mixed-use energy space with green roofs and public art. She remembered that day, remembered his excitement, his belief. She didn't take it down, but she turned it around. At Arcovia HQ, Cole stepped into a closed-door meeting with 2 board members and Bevan. The room was tense. "We've received indirect inquiries from investors," one member began. Cole didn't ask what they were about. They all knew. "Your name still holds weight, Cole," the other continued, "but the silence around this situation is costing us public trust." Bevan handed him a summary packet. "You can keep your title." But Bevan would be the face until the quarter stabilizes. He didn't argue. He simply said, "Understood." Afterward, he walked to his office, closed the door, and stared out the window. This was what control looked like, when everything was organized, framed, operational, but emotionally bankrupt. At home, he went into Lennox's room, stood there for 10 minutes. Nothing had changed. The dinosaur decals, the space nightlight, the stack of bedtime books. But the boy who made this room whole was gone, and it was his fault. That evening, Simone let Cole into her apartment for the first time. He stood in the living room like he didn't belong there. He didn't. Ira stood in the kitchen, arms crossed. "I came to read him a story," Cole said quietly. Ira didn't speak, then nodded toward the hallway. Lennox squealed when he saw him. "Daddy." Cole knelt down and hugged him hard. "I brought your favorite." He held up a new copy of The Fox Who Built a Rocket. They sat on the floor. Lennox curled beside him. Cole read every word. Ira listened from the kitchen. When the book ended, Lennox yawned. "Will you come again next week?" Cole looked up. "I hope so." Ira didn't reply, but she didn't say no. That night, Cole left without asking for a talk. He didn't push, didn't beg, just closed the door softly behind him. And for the first time, Ira didn't feel like chasing after answers. She had something better now. Boundaries. Cole used to command every room he entered. He knew when to speak, when to pause, when to nod and make the exact eye contact needed to turn doubt into dollars. But that was before. Now, when he entered Arcovia's glass conference room, the air didn't shift in his favor. People spoke more cautiously. Some didn't speak at all. No one asked how he was. And worst of all, he understood why. 3 weeks had passed since Ira left. The press didn't know, but the people that mattered did. A former investor's wife mentioned seeing Cole with a woman who was definitely not Ira at a Turks and Caicos gala. A junior PR associate flagged photos from a private event, Cole and Sienna in the background, her hand on his knee. No scandal, but whispers. And whispers, in corporate rooms, are enough to gut empires. Bevan, now acting spokesperson, scheduled a crisis alignment meeting. She didn't invite Cole. She informed him afterward. "I'll be handling all public-facing duties for second quarter," she said. He nodded. "You'll retain founder title," she added. "But your visibility needs to reset." She wasn't unkind, but she wasn't making room for sentiment. He returned to his office and closed the door. On the wall hung a photo of his first major donor event, Ira at his side, hand in his. She wasn't smiling for the cameras. She was smiling at him. Back when she believed in everything he said. He took the frame down. Not in anger, in resignation. Sienna called that night. He let it ring. Then a text came. "Why are you ghosting me?" He didn't answer. Another one followed. "You think this is all on me?" Still no reply. She tried again. "Don't act like I chased you. You came to me." He finally responded. "You were an escape. That's all. I see that now. No dots, no typing, no response. Silence." Finally, the next day, the Financial Chronicle published a headline. Arcovia founder steps back as COO Bevan Lynn leads forward. The article was clean, professional, but industry readers knew what that meant. One slip and the face of $1 billion vision was no longer safe for the brand. Ira saw the article over lunch. Simone turned the screen. "That's a quiet takedown if I've ever seen one." Ira didn't smile. She didn't wish for Cole to fall. She only wished he had stood for more. That evening, Ira walked through a construction site for her new urban redesign project, a public plaza in the heart of the city. The project was once Cole's idea. Years ago, over takeout on the floor of their first office, he said, "Imagine if we built something that didn't make money, just made space." Now, Ira was making that space, without him, and it felt right. Cole stayed in the background. He answered only internal queries, declined panels, turned down interviews, let Bevan handle investor calls. At night, he cooked, badly, burnt rice, oversalted chicken. He cleaned without rhythm. He read books Lennox had outgrown. He went to bed without Ira's voice humming through the hallway. He still texted Lennox every evening. Sometimes he got a reply. Sometimes he didn't. Ira didn't interfere, but she didn't encourage either. She let Cole earn access back. Slowly, one day at a time. Sienna sent one final message a week later. "You'll regret using me like I didn't have a heart in this too." He didn't reply. He deleted her number. That chapter was over. Bevan invited Ira to speak on a sustainability panel weeks later. Not because of Cole, but because Ira's work now spoke louder than his name. Ira declined the public slot, but agreed to support the design review behind the scenes. That's how far she'd come. From being Cole's wife, to being someone who could say no with grace and still be respected. One night, Cole received a call from an old mentor. The man didn't ask about Ira, didn't mention the headlines. He simply said, "You built something great, don't forget that. But don't confuse silence with safety. They'll both let you drown if you stop showing up." Cole sat in that sentence long after the call ended, because he knew exactly what it meant. Ira didn't follow Cole's unraveling in real time. She didn't read the articles unless someone showed her. Didn't check investor gossip threads or company news. What she paid attention to was smaller things. Lennox sleeping better, her calendar filling with projects she chose, a laugh that came easier in meetings. These were her milestones, not headlines, but others noticed. Clients who once asked about Mr. Merritt's wife now introduced her as a creative partner. Reporters reached out, hoping to get her side. She declined all interviews. She wasn't building a brand on what she'd survived. She was building something stronger on what she now believed. One afternoon, while reviewing proposals, Ira received an unexpected package. No return name. Inside was a worn leather notebook, her old sketchbook. She flipped through it and found notes in the margins, small edits, color swatches, questions, Cole's handwriting, things he once left on her desk before board meetings. She paused at a sticky note. Page 17 is the one you should pitch first. They'll remember it. She closed the book, not with anger, with finality. Meanwhile, Cole sat alone in a back office at Arcovia, watching his name shrink from press kits and investor reports. Bevan's name now appeared first. He didn't fight it. His time as the face had passed. He wasn't fired. He was faded. Sienna hadn't reached out again. The silence stayed. That was the last gift she gave him. Simone brought home cupcakes one Friday night to celebrate Lennox getting a perfect score on his class reading test. Ira let him have 2. He asked if Daddy could come next Friday. Ira said, "We'll see." He didn't pout. He simply said, "If he comes, can he bring the rocket book again?" She nodded. "That's a good idea." Cole got the text late that night. From Ira. "Lennox would like you to join us next Friday." He stared at it for 5 minutes before responding. "I'll be there. No begging. No small talk. Just one agreement." The following Friday, he arrived early. Lennox was still at school. Ira opened the door, then walked back inside without a word. Cole removed his shoes, stepped in, and waited. The apartment smelled like cinnamon and paper. Felt like real life, not luxury, not silence, just life. When Lennox burst through the door, his face lit up. Cole knelt. They read the book twice. Lennox leaned on his shoulder. By the time they finished, he was half asleep. Ira took him to bed without a word. Cole waited in the living room. When she returned, she stood in the doorway. "You've shown up 3 weeks in a row. I said I would, and now?" He paused. "I'll keep showing up, not as his dad," she said softly. "That's expected." He looked at her. "As what then?" "As someone who finally understands consistency isn't romantic. It's responsible." Cole didn't ask to stay, didn't try to explain anything. He simply nodded, put on his shoes, and left. In the elevator, he let out a breath he hadn't known he'd been holding. He didn't know if she'd ever want more, but he knew this was more than he deserved. A week later, Ira attended a roundtable for women in civic architecture. Her firm was being quietly praised for ethical development, environmental integration, and community-first planning. Someone asked if she'd always worked independently. She said, "I used to build for someone else's dream. Now I build with my own hands. That's the difference." And the room applauded. That night, she tucked Lennox into bed. He held her hand and whispered, "I hope Daddy keeps coming." Ira didn't say yes, but she kissed his hand and said, "Me too." Across the city, Cole stood in front of the mirror, noticing how tired his face had become. How strange it felt to look at himself without performance. He turned off the light, and for once slept without guilt rattling his chest. When someone loses the image they work so hard to protect, all that's left is who they are when no one's watching. Have you ever seen a quiet fall speak louder than a public collapse? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share this story if you believe dignity doesn't need revenge, and subscribe to Mr. Charles' Stories, where the truth doesn't beg for attention. Ira no longer felt the need to explain herself. Not at work, not in meetings, not in rooms where once she entered as Mrs. Merritt, and now walked in as the woman who survived him. Her posture hadn't changed. Her voice hadn't grown louder, but everything about her felt different. Focused, forward, not in revenge, in clarity. She arrived at the Midtown project site just after 9 a.m. Steel beams were up, the green wall infrastructure had begun, and her junior team lead was already fielding media requests. Ira reviewed the environmental blueprint again. There was a flaw in the northern drainage slope. The angle would collect runoff too close to the pedestrian curve. She flagged it, re-sketched the correction on her tablet, sent it with one note: "Fix this before the foundation dries." "We don't correct mistakes in public." Her team responded with a single emoji. That was the language now. Precise, professional, unapologetic. Cole watched the site coverage later that day from his office. A drone shot of Ira standing in a hard hat, pointing to the steelwork. She didn't wave at the camera, didn't smile for press. She didn't need to, because now, The world was seeing her as he had once, long before he forgot what it meant to honor her effort. Bevan walked in while he was watching the clip. "She's good," she said simply. "She always was. You just weren't." Cole nodded. "I know." Bevan didn't add anything. She didn't have to. Later that week, Ira received an invitation to attend a private city developer's dinner. She almost declined, but her assistant encouraged her. "You've earned the table. Don't shrink back now." So she went. Wore a steel grey dress, no heels, minimal jewelry, hair pulled back tight. Power didn't need polish. It needed steadiness. When she entered the room, a few heads turned. A senior developer from the mayor's office greeted her first. "I've heard about your plaza project," he said. "Public response is strong." "Because we listen to the public," she replied. Someone else chuckled. Imagine that. Back at the penthouse, Cole sat alone with a plate of food he barely touched. He used to fill this space with excuses, meetings, clients, escape. Now it was just quiet, the kind that forced reflection. Not pity, not shame, just truth. He scrolled through old photos. Ira in college, holding blueprints while sitting on the floor. Ira asleep with Lennox on her chest, ink stains still on her fingers. Ira smiling at him after his first check cleared. He didn't want her back out of guilt. He wanted her back because now he finally understood what it cost her to believe in him when he didn't give her reasons to. The next day, he attended the foundation's annual gala. Bevan gave the keynote. Cole stayed off stage. Ira didn't attend. But someone asked about her during the panel. "Are you two still a team?" the moderator asked. Cole didn't lie. "No, but I hope one day she sees we still built something worth remembering." That was all he said. It was all he could say. That night, Ira got a message from her college professor. "Saw your name on the Development Summit roster. Proud doesn't cover it." She smiled and responded, "You once said I'd bend too far for people who wouldn't meet me halfway. I finally stopped doing that." Lennox ran into her office the next afternoon after school. He was holding a flyer for a community showcase. "I'm doing a skit," he beamed, "about choices." She ruffled his hair. "I like that. Can Daddy come?" She paused, then said, "He can." She texted Cole, "Lennox wants you at the showcase." His reply came fast, "I'll be there." Early. She didn't thank him, because this wasn't a favor. This was a requirement. The day of the showcase arrived quietly. No fanfare, no announcements, just children in crisp shirts and sneakers, teachers arranging folding chairs, and parents checking the time. Ira arrived early with Lennox. She helped him adjust his paper crown and fix a safety pin on his cape. He clung to her for a moment, then ran backstage. She exhaled, smoothed her jacket, and sat in the second row. She always chose second, never first. She liked seeing clearly without needing the spotlight. Cole arrived 6 minutes before it started. He didn't walk in loudly, didn't wear a suit, just a clean shirt, dark jeans, and eyes that searched until they found Ira. She saw him, nodded once, nothing more. He took a seat across the aisle, not beside her, not behind, a respectful distance. He didn't wave, didn't force contact, but Lennox saw him, and that was enough. The performance began. Each child took turns presenting their skit. Some forgot lines, some shouted too loud. When it was Lennox's turn, he stepped forward with calm hands and a proud grin. He began, "This is a story about choices." Ira leaned forward. Cole stilled. Lennox's voice was steady, rehearsed. When someone breaks something, they can pretend they didn't, or they can fix it. But fixing is slow. He looked toward the audience, eyes landing on his mother, then his father. Some people say sorry fast, but real sorry takes time, and showing up, and being nice even when no one claps. Ira's throat tightened. Lennox ended with a bow. No tears, just a smile. The room applauded, but Ira stayed quiet. So did Cole. Their son had said everything. Afterward, The kids reunited with their parents. Lennox darted to Ira, then pulled her hand toward Cole. "Did you see it?" Cole crouched. "Every word. Was I loud enough?" "You were perfect." Ira stood quietly, watching them. Lennox turned. "Mommy, can Daddy come to pizza?" Ira hesitated, then said, "He can join for a slice." Lennox cheered. At the pizza place, they didn't talk about the past. They talked about dinosaurs, sauce flavors, cheese ratios. Ira corrected Lennox's napkin grip. Cole refilled their sodas. When it was time to go, Ira stood to grab the check. Cole reached for his wallet. She paused. "This isn't yours to pay for." He nodded. Didn't insist. She left the tip in cash. Outside, the sun was setting. Lennox hugged Cole goodbye. Ira said nothing, but didn't rush him. Cole crouched again. "I'm proud of you," Lennox whispered. "I'm proud of you too. You didn't leave early." Cole froze, then smiled. "I won't anymore." That night, Ira tucked Lennox into bed. He said, "You were brave today." She smiled. "How so?" "Because Daddy used to make you small. Now you look big." Ira brushed his curls. "I feel clear." "That's different from big." "Is clear better?" "It is now." Cole drove home and walked into the penthouse, turned on one light, removed the tie Lennox made for him out of construction paper, hung it on the mirror, then stood and said quietly, "Thank you for today." To no one, to everyone. He didn't text Ira, didn't expect anything more, but 3 days later, a package arrived. Inside, a framed photo of Lennox holding his paper crown. No note, only a printed caption, "Choices." The call came at 1:16 a.m. Cole's phone buzzed against the marble counter in the penthouse kitchen. He didn't answer immediately. He was half asleep, sprawled on the couch, TV humming some documentary he hadn't followed. Then it rang again. This time, it was Simone. That got his attention. He picked up. "Hello." Her voice was tight. "It's Lennox." "They're at the ER." He sat up. "What happened?" "Breathing trouble. He's stable now, but Ira said they caught it just in time." Cole was already reaching for his keys. "Which hospital?" She told him. He was out the door before the call ended. Ira sat beside Lennox's hospital bed, arms folded, jaw clenched. She hadn't cried. She didn't plan to. The doctor had assured her it wasn't a full-blown attack, more like a severe respiratory episode triggered by the season shift and a mist inhaler dose. Still, his breathing had scared her, and the drive had been the longest 8 minutes of her life. She sat in the emergency room chair, staring at his curled figure under the blanket. He looked small again, and nothing, not success, not dignity, not space, could keep that fear from cutting deep. Cole arrived 20 minutes later, disheveled, hoodie inside out, face drawn. He didn't speak until he reached the doorway. Ira didn't look up. She was focused on Lennox's vitals. Cole stood still. "He's okay?" he asked finally. Her voice was even. "They say yes." He took a step in. "Can I sit?" Ira nodded, but her eyes stayed forward. They sat in silence for a while. Machines beeped softly. Lennox stirred once, then settled again. Cole leaned forward, hands locked. "I should have been here sooner." Ira didn't flinch. "You were where you trained yourself to be." That landed. She added, "We've built a rhythm that keeps you out of emergencies. And now you want in." "I want to be better," he said. She didn't answer, because wanting and acting were two different languages. An hour passed before the nurse confirmed they could take Lennox home. Ira began gathering his things. Cole offered to carry the bag. She didn't argue, didn't thank him. They left together. Quietly, outside the hospital, Ira helped Lennox into the back seat of her car. Cole stood nearby. The headlights made him look older, less like the man on Forbes covers, and more like the man who'd stayed too long in his own shadow. Ira closed the car door, turned to him. Her voice was quiet, but sharp. You don't get to call this your wake-up call. I know. This isn't about you seeing the light. This is about you noticing the dark only when it came for your son. Cole nodded. No defense. No speech. Ira shook her head. I'm tired, Cole. And not just physically. I'm not asking you to carry anything for me, he said. Good. She got in, drove off, and left him standing there. Back at Simone's, Ira helped Lennox settle in. He slept deeply, breathing clear. She sat beside his bed and stared at the wall for a long time. Not thinking, just existing. For the first time in a long while, she allowed herself to rest in the knowledge that she had done enough. She didn't need to hold everything anymore. Let Cole try. Cole returned to the penthouse just before 4 a.m. He didn't turn on any lights, didn't pour a drink. He went straight to the mirror in the hallway, the one where Sienna used to fix her lipstick, where he once adjusted his tie for gala photos. He looked at himself, at the tired eyes, the swollen cheeks, the grief tucked behind regret. And he said out loud, I almost lost more than her. He walked into Lennox's old room. The dinosaur decals were still up. He turned on the nightlight, sat on the edge of the bed, then picked up a book from the shelf, the same one Lennox had once asked him to read right, and he read it, softly, to the empty room. Because this time, he needed to hear the ending too. Lennox was quiet the next day. No cartoons, no running around. He sat on the couch beside Ira, flipping through the same book 3 times without turning a page. She watched him, breathed alongside him, didn't rush anything. At lunch, he whispered, I don't like the hospital. I don't either, she replied gently. He leaned against her. I like when Daddy sits still, though. Ira blinked. Why? Because he listens better that way. Cole didn't text that day, not because he didn't care, because he didn't want to offer concern without action. He spent the afternoon reviewing everything Ira had written about parenting in emails over the past year. Reminders, doctor notes, class updates, all the things he skimmed. By 4 p.m., he was standing in the parenting aisle of a bookstore, reading through titles he once would have laughed at. Now, he took 2 home. Not because they had answers, because they were effort. That night, he called Ira. Not to ask anything, to inform. Hey, he said, I'd like to schedule time with Lennox twice a week. Ira was quiet on the other end. Then, why now? Because I no longer need crisis to remind me he's my son. She exhaled. He needs routine, not surprises. I'll be consistent. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm okay with that. Lennox began to recover quickly. His breathing stabilized. His appetite returned. But his questions changed. Are you and Daddy friends again? Ira never gave false hope. We're working on being kind to each other. Does that mean he can come to music day? I'll ask him. Lennox nodded. Tell him I'll play the part he taught me. Ira paused. You practiced that without me. Lennox grinned. He plays guitar better. She smiled, noting. Cole showed up to music day 15 minutes early. He stood in the hallway until the class began. When Lennox saw him, he waved so hard he nearly knocked over a drum. The music teacher smiled. Cole, would you like to join the group? He looked at Ira. She gave a small nod. Permission, not invitation. He stepped forward, strummed softly, kept rhythm. Lennox beamed. After class, Ira pulled him aside. You handled that well. I didn't want to ruin the moment. I used to think showing up was a trophy, not a duty. Ira crossed her arms. You're not owed praise. I know, but he is owed presence. I know that now too. They walked to the parking lot together. Lennox skipped ahead. Ira stopped at her car. Next week is parent conference week. I'll forward the invite. Thank you. Don't make me remind you twice. You won't have to. That night, Cole got home and placed a printed copy of Lennox's music day photo on his fridge. Then he sat at his table and filled out a co-parenting worksheet his therapist had emailed him months ago. He left no blank spaces. Not this time. Ira reviewed the forwarded calendar event. He'd accepted it, without prompting. That was new. She didn't reward it, but she noticed, and for now, that was enough. Cole stood at the entrance of the downtown office tower, coat slung over one arm, resignation letter folded in the other. No assistants flanked him, no watch glances, no pretense, just Cole, on time for once in his life. He stepped inside. Security gave him a nod, one less forced than usual. He realized then, people had always observed more than they spoke, and for the first time in years, he was ready to hear the silence. Upstairs, the conference room was full. His company's board sat with composed faces, expecting another fire to put out or explain. Instead, Cole placed the letter down on the table, slid it toward the chairman, and said calmly, "I'm stepping down as CEO." One of the investors straightened. "We didn't approve a succession." Cole raised a hand. "I'm not asking." He looked at each of them. "I've built something powerful, but I've broken things too. In my house, in my name, and in the mirror. I don't want this title if it costs me what I can never rebuild again." No one interrupted, because this wasn't about the company anymore. It was about the man they never actually knew. Outside, Cole exhaled into the wind. He'd cleared his desk quietly the day before. No fanfare, no goodbye posts. He didn't need a legacy that looked impressive but felt hollow. He just needed to go home lighter than he'd walked in. Back at his apartment, Cole started removing what no longer aligned. A drawer of designer watches he wore to impress strangers. Gone. Stacks of gifts he bought Lennox but never gave. Donated. Photos with filters but no emotion behind the smiles. Deleted. He repainted the guest room Lennox stayed in, not with help, but with his own hands. Soft green, clean lines. Shelves low enough for a 5-year-old to reach without help. By 11 p.m., he sat on the floor, back against the wall, and called his mother. She answered groggily. "Cole?" "I stepped down." She paused. "From your company?" "Yes. And you're calling me why?" "To let you know, I'm okay not being impressive anymore." Silence. Then, with a cracked voice, she said, "I liked you better when you were kind." Ira didn't know about his resignation until a former client mentioned it during a consultation. Heard Cole West step down. Clean break. "What's that about?" She kept her face calm, but her chest tightened. That wasn't a headline move. It was a personal shift. Later that evening, Cole waited in the lobby of Lennox's dance studio. No driver, no sunglasses, no checking his phone, just presence. Ira arrived with Lennox holding her hand. She spotted him immediately. "Why are you here?" "I told Lennox I'd attend his next class. I signed in. You didn't check first. I wanted to ask you here." Face to face, Lennox tugged on her arm. "Let him, Mom. He brought my sneakers. The red ones." Ira looked down. Sure enough, Cole held the red box. Right size, right brand, no overcompensation. She nodded once. Permission. Again, not invitation. Cole sat quietly in the back during class. Didn't film, didn't interfere, just clapped when appropriate and smiled when Lennox looked his way. Afterward, Lennox ran to him, hugged his leg. "You saw me twirl." "I saw all of it. You didn't talk. I wanted to watch you shine." Lennox beamed. Ira walked up, arms folded. "You cleared your schedule?" "I don't have one." She raised an eyebrow. "I stepped down." Ira blinked. "From your company?" He nodded. "You're serious?" "I needed to stop pretending I could fix my house while building an empire from glass." She didn't respond right away. Then, softly, "I didn't ask you to do that. I know, but I needed to." They walked outside into the soft evening air. Lennox ran ahead to stomp leaves. Cole kept his hands in his pockets. "I'm not trying to win points," he said. "Good. I just want to stop causing losses." Ira looked at him, this time not with fire, but fatigue. "You can't erase the years." "I wouldn't ask to." But if this is a performance, it's not. Then stop explaining. She glanced at Lennox and added, just show up. Cole understood. That was all he needed now. Not second chances, but consistent presence, and the quiet kind of love that didn't ask to be noticed, only to be earned. The next Saturday morning, Ira opened her email to an unexpected invitation. A leading early childhood education non-profit had shortlisted her for a regional leadership role, one she hadn't applied for. The director mentioned they'd reviewed her curriculum at the community center scene, footage of her workshops, and believed her philosophy matched their mission. The job came with more pay, travel, and influence, but it also meant being away 3 nights a week. Her first thought wasn't excitement. It was Lennox. Then Cole. Then balance. She didn't reply immediately. Instead, she sat on the porch with her coffee, watching the wind play with the corner of Lennox's toy mat. Cole arrived an hour later to pick Lennox up for breakfast and their newly agreed Saturday library ritual. Ira stepped out, shielding her eyes. Can we talk? Cole parked, got out, and leaned against the car. She handed him the printed email. He read it twice. This is big, he said, eyes meeting hers. She nodded. But it changes our rhythm. I can adjust. I need to know you mean that. He didn't flinch. Tell me what you'd need. Later that evening, they met again, without Lennox, and mapped out a custody restructure. Cole listened. He suggested without overriding. He offered backup support, not control. He asked questions like, would this disrupt Lennox's tutoring? Instead of what about my time? Ira didn't say it aloud, but this version of Cole felt solid, not because he was softer, because he was stable. 3 weeks passed. Ira took the job. She traveled twice. Cole never missed a pickup or drop-off. Lennox's routine held firm. More than that, he blossomed. He hummed in the morning. His teachers noted his growing patience. He told his grandparents, Daddy brings my snack, Mommy packs my bag, I'm okay. One Friday, Ira returned home late from a conference to find her porch light fixed, her mailbox repaired, and a new pack of watercolors tucked into the side basket, Lennox's favorite. She called Cole. I didn't ask you to do all that. You didn't have to. Trying to earn more praise. No. Just trying not to create more problems. Ira smiled softly into the quiet. Thanks. You're welcome. Sunday came with a new surprise. Lennox had drawn a picture of his family. 3 stick figures, 1 tall, 1 curly-haired, 1 in the middle with a red cape. Underneath, my home is not broken. It's blended with love. Ira didn't cry. She just framed it. The next morning, Cole dropped Lennox off and lingered by the door. I'm attending a support group, he said. For what? Former high-functioning avoidance. Ira blinked. Is that a thing? He nodded. It is now. I'm tired of pretending silence means strength. She paused, then opened the door wider. Coffee brewed inside. 15 minutes, she said. 15 minutes, he agreed. Inside, they sat at the kitchen island, not talking about the past, not forecasting the future, just existing. Lennox buzzed through with jam on his cheek. Cole wiped it gently. You missed a spot, Ira said, nodding at the other cheek. Cole grinned. He's symmetrical now. They both laughed. No pressure, no push, just shared rhythm. That evening, Ira updated her journal. Today, CO parenting felt like harmony, not choreography. He didn't try to win me back, but he also didn't walk away. We're not a family by default. We're building it on purpose. Ira hadn't planned to see her father again, but when her aunt passed unexpectedly and the memorial was scheduled for a Sunday in South Carolina, she didn't hesitate. She packed a small bag for herself and Lennox, notified Cole, and drove 10 hours with playlists and juice boxes, keeping the car quiet and manageable. Cole had offered to take Lennox instead, but Ira declined. She wanted him there, not for her father, for herself. The last time she stood in front of that faded church sign, she'd been 22. Pregnant, alone, denied, Now she returned as a woman who'd built a life despite the void her father left. She didn't need an apology. She needed closure. Inside the memorial, the scent of rosewood and pressed suits wrapped the room in tight politeness. Ira's father sat in the front row, shoulders slumped. He turned slightly when she entered. Didn't stand, didn't frown, just stared. Lennox clutched her hand tighter. "Is that Granddad?" "Yes," she whispered. "He looks like you when you're tired." Ira blinked back a sharp breath and nodded. They sat quietly, no dramatics, no expectations. After the service, the family gathered for refreshments. Ira stayed near the hallway exit, sipping lemon tea. Her father approached slowly, hands wringing each other. "I heard about your work," he began. She gave a small nod. "It's going well. I wasn't there when I should have been." She tilted her head. "That's true," he nodded. "I don't expect forgiveness. I didn't bring any." They both stood there, uneasy, but honest. Later that evening, Lennox sat on the porch swing of their rented cottage, feet kicking the air. "Is he a bad person?" "No," Ira answered. "But he made choices that hurt people. Will you let him see me?" She didn't answer immediately. "Maybe one day, but only if I believe he'll treat you better than he treated me." Lennox nodded. "Okay, that was enough." Back in Atlanta the next week, Ira shared the full story with Cole over coffee. He listened without interruption. When she finished, she expected a generic reply. Instead, he asked, "Do you think it's easier to forgive a man when you've stopped waiting for them to become someone else?" Ira stared at him. Then slowly, "Yes." He nodded. "I feel that every day." That night, Ira couldn't sleep. Not because of trauma, because of clarity. She sat at her kitchen counter, opened her journal, and wrote, "I am no longer a woman hardened by disappointment. I am a woman softened by strength." 2 days later, Ira left a folder on Cole's desk at the co-working space they sometimes used for joint planning. Inside were printed photos, Lennox's school art, snapshots from his first recital, drawings he'd made of Mummy and Daddy. No labels, no sticky notes, just moments. Cole didn't call. He showed up at Ira's place that evening, not to demand or question, but to contribute. He brought a framed version of the Music Day photo, the one Lennox loved. "I wanted him to feel proud of his family," Cole said. Ira glanced at the frame. Simple wood, no flashy caption. "Thank you," she said quietly. He nodded. "May I come in?" She stepped aside, not to resume anything, but to acknowledge that consistency also deserved presence. Lennox sat cross-legged on the living room rug, building a cardboard city. "Daddy, I made an elevator this time." Cole crouched down. "Does it go up and down?" "No," Lennox said, "but it feels like it does." Cole smiled. "That's better than most adults manage." Ira watched them from the kitchen, tea in hand. The ease surprised her. The lack of tension unnerved her more. Later that night, after Lennox fell asleep, Ira walked Cole to the door. He lingered for a moment. "I'm not trying to undo anything," she raised a brow. "But I want to rebuild trust wherever you'll let me." "Why?" "Because you stopped begging me to be better, and I started wanting it for myself." She exhaled. That line hit deeper than she expected. Still, she didn't open the door wider, but she didn't close it either. That week, Ira's mentor invited her to speak at a women's resilience forum. She hesitated. Public events weren't her thing, but something in her stirred, a need to speak beyond survival. Cole offered to watch Lennox for the night. "I'll have him home by bedtime," Ira agreed. The forum was packed, women of all backgrounds, sharing journeys through grief, betrayal, and healing. When it was Ira's turn to speak, she stood calmly. "I used to believe silence was safer than truth," she began. "But silence also robs you of the right to be understood." The room leaned in. "I don't need anyone's apology to move forward. I need my own permission to stop dragging the past with me." Applause erupted. Ira didn't flinch. That night, Cole sent her a text. Lennox is asleep. I didn't mess up dinner. Also, he told me your speech will probably save people. I agree. Ira smiled faintly at the screen. Thank you, she replied. No emoji, no extra words, just truth. The following weekend, Lennox's school hosted a family build day, a hands-on event with cardboard, paint, and imagination. Each child could bring up to 2 adults. Lennox asked, "Can both of you come?" Ira looked at Cole. He didn't blink. "We'll be there." The 3 of them sat cross-legged in a sea of duct tape and glitter, building what Lennox described as a robot mailbox with a jetpack. Ira laughed until her side ached. Cole smeared paint on his own cheek by accident. Lennox clapped. "You both look like cartoons." They did, but for once, they weren't playing roles. They were showing up, mess and all. That evening, as Cole packed up the supplies, he said softly, "I didn't think we'd get here." Ira responded, "You didn't know where here was." He smiled. "I do now." She nodded. "So do I." They didn't hold hands, didn't make declarations, but for the first time in years, they left the same event, not as adversaries, not as forced parents, but as people finally building something that didn't need fixing, just attention. Sunday morning started with coffee on Ira's porch. Not together, not planned. Cole had dropped Lennox off early and stayed in his car for a minute longer than usual. Ira noticed. She opened the door and stepped outside. No makeup, no armor. "You want coffee?" she asked. He hesitated. "If it's not a peace offering, it's just coffee." He stepped out. They sat in silence, not awkward, just still. Lennox was inside playing superhero with socks on his hands. Cole leaned back in the chair. "I've been thinking," he said. Ira didn't interrupt. "I don't want a second chance at what we had." She blinked. "Okay, I want a first chance at what we never built." That landed harder than it should have, because he meant it, not as romance, as foundation. Ira folded her arms. "Why now?" He looked at her. "You gave up on me, without hating me. That broke something in me that needed to be broken." She stared at him, unsure of whether to cry or smile. "Is this a pitch or a confession?" she asked. "Neither. Just my truth." The following week, Ira was invited to speak at Lennox's class for Career Day. She asked if Cole wanted to join. He didn't hesitate. They arrived together, not holding hands, not making statements, just showing up. Lennox beamed as he introduced them. "This is my mom. She writes things that help people. And this is my dad. He listens now." The class laughed. Ira's breath caught. Cole simply nodded. Tough act to follow. Afterward, the teacher thanked them. "You two have great co-parenting energy." Ira smiled. But inside, she felt something else brewing. Not tension, not ache. Possibility. That evening, she sat Lennox down. "Can I ask you something?" He looked up from his coloring book. "Okay. If Daddy and I spent more time together, how would that feel?" He shrugged. "Like old cartoons. The ones before commercials." She furrowed her brow. "Is that good?" He nodded. "They feel like they last longer." Ira exhaled. The next month unfolded quietly. No grand gestures. Cole dropped off Lennox without forgetting things. He handled school forms before Ira asked. He remembered Ira's speaking events without reminders. One night, he showed up to one, uninvited but not unwelcome, and sat quietly in the back. When she saw him afterward, she didn't ask why he came. He didn't explain. They simply walked to the parking lot together. Old rhythm, new tempo. Weeks later, Lennox had a minor fall at school. Scraped knee, nothing major. Ira rushed from work. Cole arrived minutes after. Lennox smiled from the nurse's office. "You both came," he whispered. Ira sat beside him. Cole handed him a lollipop. He grinned. "Now, it's like nothing hurts." Ira met Cole's eyes, and something clicked. They didn't talk that night. They didn't need to. But the next morning, Ira texted, "Dinner, this Friday." just us." Cole replied, "Are you sure?" "No, but I'm ready to not be sure alone." Friday came. Ira wore a deep blue dress, simple but elegant. Cole showed up 5 minutes early, dressed like he cared, not for her approval, for the moment. They talked like people who remembered each other, laughed like people who forgave each other, and paused like people who might try again. After dessert, Cole leaned forward. "I know you're not asking for forever." Ira nodded. "But I'm asking for right now, with honesty." She looked down, then back at him. "Then here's mine. I don't trust easily, not anymore. I wouldn't respect you if you did." She softened. "I need slow. I need present. I need effort that doesn't expire when things get easy." He smiled. "That's the only kind I've got now." They left the restaurant in silence, not because there was nothing to say, but because some beginnings whisper. Cole walked her to her car. "I'll see you Sunday." "For what?" "Breakfast. Cartoons. Cardboard cities." She smiled. "I'll make the coffee." He leaned in, didn't kiss her, didn't push, just whispered, "I'm glad I didn't give up after I grew up." She held his gaze, and for the first time in years, her guard didn't rise. Sunday morning came. Lennox was already building his latest invention, a castle with a drawbridge and superhero flags. Cole helped glue the towers. Ira brought the coffee. No labels, no performances. Just a family, shaped differently, stronger than before. And for once, peace didn't feel like the end. It felt like a soft, brave beginning. They didn't remarry in a rush. No big announcements, no rings. Just real time spent understanding who they were, not as exes, not as parents, but as people who survived disappointment without abandoning love. Ira and Cole weren't perfect, but they were present. They knew what silence could cost. They'd lived through what pretending could destroy. Now, they chose truth, even when it stung. They chose showing up, even when it wasn't convenient. They chose peace, because it took more strength to build than war ever did. Ira learned that love is never enough if it's not nurtured with respect. She learned that being strong didn't mean staying silent, and being forgiving didn't mean forgetting what she needed. She demanded presence, not promises. Cole learned that fatherhood wasn't about being the loudest protector. It was about being the quiet constant. He stopped chasing validation and started chasing growth. He stopped performing and started participating. And Lennox? He never needed a perfect family. He needed a safe one. He got that. Because two grown-ups chose accountability over ego. Because one woman chose boundaries over bitterness. Because one man chose healing over hiding. If this story touched your heart, pause for a moment and think of someone who needs to hear it. Maybe a friend navigating co-parenting. Maybe someone quietly choosing peace after heartbreak. Maybe you, rebuilding from the ruins of what was never whole to begin with. This is Mr. Charles Stories, where we don't chase perfection. We embrace real people, real growth, and real second chances. If you believe peace is stronger than pride, if you believe children deserve more than tension behind closed doors, if you believe showing up is still love's loudest language, then like this video, share it, and subscribe to Mr. Charles Stories. There's more where this came from. Stories that remind us. Accountability heals louder than apology. Effort without ego is the rarest kind of romance. And sometimes, love doesn't return because you beg for it. It returns when you become someone worth staying for. Thank you for watching. Until next time, choose peace and protect your joy.